Hey there, editing me. I just wanted to interject and warn you guys, I didn't realize until I was editing how bad the eyeliner actually was, but hey, you know, it happens to the best of us. So try not to let it be too distracting, because there's some good stuff in this video. Alright, back to the show.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It feels kind of like a whole new place now because I feel like this is a real thing now and I can actually like do this. I mean, I was always kind of just wondering, I was like, can I really do this? Do people like me? And you know, I'm feeling a little bit more like maybe I can do this. It's not gonna be perfect, it's not always gonna be pretty, but we're doing this. So why do I feel this way? Well, guys, we're monetized! Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited and I just want to thank all of you guys. I want to thank all of you for supporting me, being there from the beginning, commenting on my videos, saying hey, hi, ho, I don't like you, or whatever you have to say. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for taking me to that next step. I'm really excited about this video right now because this is the first time I've ever done something like this, and it's the first time where I actually really felt a need to do something like this, and I feel like I did it. So what we're here to talk about is the new Jeffree Star launch. I didn't think I was gonna do it. I was really trying not to do it. I was gonna let it be its own thing and take its course as it may and just let the sea ride it. But when I saw the palette that came out, I had to say something. Like, I can't let this be a thing and not at least put my opinion out into the ethosphere. Because guys, this palette, you know you don't need this palette. I mean this is the palette. Look at it. It is 30 shades. Oh, it's in a gradient. Oh, great. Okay, but look at this palette. There is probably 10, maybe 13 unique shades tops. And I know I'm not the first one to say this because I've seen it all over the internet. I'm gonna post a picture that I found, a Twitter user post, and if I can't find your name, I'm sorry, and if it was your post, please let me know. But she actually made this little graph of how really close and similar these shades are. I mean, we all know that when we put shades on the eye, sometimes it's indistinguishable after it gets blended out. And this is one of those scenarios where there's really look at it, guys. There's only like maybe 13 unique shades. And chances are you have most of them. Chances are you have most of them, even if you have all his other palettes. You have most of these shades. And is it convenient for makeup artists? I guess, but chances are they already have most of these shades, I'm sure, first of all. Second of all, no makeup artist is going to want to carry around a palette that big that says that. I mean, they'd be very limited in their audience that they could serve if they carried around that. Let's be honest. So that kind of negates that. And it makes no sense to own all these shades and pay that much money for all those shades when realistically, no matter what your skin tone is, you're lucky if you're gonna use less than 10 of them. Because when we go to neutrals, we tend to use the same shades of neutrals because that's what works. That's what works. So I could see him having split this up in like little quads where people could pick the neutrals that made sense to them for smaller price points, maybe like in that mini size. That would have been perfect. But no, he comes out with this 30 pan matte palette, all matte. I think that's what upset me the most, is that they were all matte. And then put all the shimmers in a separate palette and charge you another $30 for it. So if you want all the usable shades to get a complete look, you're paying $90. And it just doesn't sit well with me. It's coming from someone who really, really enjoys his makeup. I do feel like his makeup's a very high quality, but this is something that is coming from a consumer standpoint. This is coming from relatively unbiased because this is about the makeup. This palette is a cash grab. It's a cash grab. $90. $90 for 30 shades that are all the same color. I mean, it's a little bit insulting. And the other items, that lipstick vault, $160 when people are the most strapped. And then of course he puts it in cute packaging, but only 5 new shades out of 25 that most collectors that would be interested in that already have. So they're being forced to fork over money for only a small portion of unique product just for the sake of being a collector. It's insulting. It's a cash grab. And it's just really, really not sitting well with me. I feel it's insulting to his fan base. This is insulting to his fan base, and I'm upset about it. I'm upset about it. And I'm here today doing this video because I feel like it's needed, because there's a lot of people that feel like they have to buy this palette and that you don't have to buy this palette. And I'm going to show you with makeup that a lot of us already have. If you don't already have them, most of these things you can find really, really inexpensive because most of them are clearance items. So yay to that. So let's look at what we got. So this is the mini. This is the little mini right here. So I am going to swatch these for you. Let's put them on our finger first just to see how they feel. This looks like it's one of his newer formulas, and I have already played with these, so I already know what to expect. And when I stick my finger in that, it's surprisingly disappointing. And I pressed pretty hard, and as you can see, my finger is a little patchy. Let's see if I can just put that on my arm for you. And this is one of his shimmer shades. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. So, I mean, some of the shimmer shades are really nice. Champagne Drip's very nice. Gagging's very nice. Soaking Sun's very nice. Bathhouse is very nice. And Foam Party is very nice. Explicit and Eiffel Tower, they're more just like satins. They perform like mattes. They're not even really shimmers. So you have 2 more brown mattes. This is the only one that's any different. Okay. The most interesting shade in this palette, and which would be the shade that is the most difficult to dupe in theory, is the shade Frozen Fire, the one in the middle. I don't know if you can see that it's got like a duochrome fleck and a little bit of a glitter and a shimmer. It's one of his more unique formulas. Put it on my finger so you can kind of see it's a little duochrome there. There we go. You can see how duochrome it is. Well, guess what? I have a dupe for this most unique shade. It's a little palette called the Urban Decay Moon Dust palette, and it's got these beautiful shimmery, very similar formula. Very similar. Only more, it looks like it's more finely refined or finely milled, but very, very similar formula. And the shade Element here is almost an exact dupe. So I'm going to swatch that right next to the Jeffree Star shade. The Jeffree Star shade is right here, okay? And I'm going to swatch it there, and boom. It's the same shade. The Urban Decay one is a little thinner, like it's more meant to be a topper, but it is buildable. So as you see, if I build it up, boom, it looks like the exact same shade. It is the exact same shade. I mean, it's the exact same shade. I've never seen a dupe that close in the history of dupes, except for eyeshadow palettes that were meant to be dupes. So there you go. And I got this palette, I think, for $15 at TJ Maxx. And I know that a lot of TJ Maxx's still have them. If they don't have them, I know that you can get it really, really cheap from resellers because they snap these up and then whatever, and they sell them for whatever reason just to make a few bucks, but you can still get it really, really cheap. All right, another shade that I want to talk about is the shade Glass Wet. This is the shimmer formula that looks like it's supposed to be similar to this one, but it's really hard pressed and it doesn't do anything. But let me tell you what shade is a dupe for this, is the shade that's exactly like that and cremated. Except the one in cremated is better. So there's that. And now the shade Champagne Drip is a very, very pretty shade, and it's very, very pigmented. And the shade Gagging, as you can see, they're so similar. This one's a little brighter, this one's a little more pink toned. I have this palette called Foiled Again. It's very, very cute. It's by The Balm. And once you open it up, it's got a very, very similar vibe. In fact, it even has some very, very basic brown mattes. And the shade Mayhem is almost an exact dupe for the shade Champagne Drip. So I'm going to swatch those on my arm just so you can see. This is the shade Champagne Drip. Champagne Drip right there, very pretty. Now I'm gonna swatch the shade Mayhem. And I'm gonna swatch it right next to it. Boom. Boom. They look exactly the same. Want to see them again? Boom. Exactly the same. They have the same sheen. The texture is a tiny bit different, but on the eye, they look and feel exactly the same. I mean, it's getting a little uncanny. Okay, just gonna show you the swatches of the mini orgy palette real quick. That first and third shade, and the second to the last shade there, I really, really, really had to work them to get them to do anything. Wet finger, wet brush, whatever I could just to get them to show up in my skin. Now, if you're saying, but I mean, I need all those mattes and I need all those colors, and no, you don't. No, you don't. If you have any kind of neutral palette that's meant to just be a neutral palette, you have all the shades you're gonna use. I promise, you do not need them. And you probably have them in a very close place where they're convenient and handy, where you don't have to carry around this big giant 30-pan palette. I got this in a BoxyCharm. I know not everybody has this, but a lot of people have this. I would say the largest portion of you, these are the only mattes you're gonna need. It's got the warm tones and the cool tones in here. I mean, there could use a little bit more, but I mean, this isn't the only neutral palette out there. There are so many. Beauty Bay has one that supposedly is very, very good. I mean, if you got any kind of Morphe palette, you know that you have all those tones. I mean, I'm sure the formula is really good. I mean, I'm not trying to say that it's not. So if you want to use that as an argument and you really want to support him and you want to buy this palette because you feel like you need this palette, I'm not going to stop you. And God bless you, more power to you. That's on you. I'm just, for those people that are on the fence about whether to buy this palette, this video is for you. And you don't need this palette. I promise you, you don't need this palette. You don't. You're not missing anything by not having this palette. And the mini, there are the two satin shades are basically just two more mattes. So that's something to think about. This Glass Wet shade is almost completely unusable. It's patchy. It doesn't go on the eye very good. So that leaves you with the Frozen Fire, which I have proven that can be duped. The Champagne Pop, which I've proven can be duped. And then Gagging, very, very similar. Bath Hole. I did not have a dupe for one just like that. So I mean, that is a more unique shade. So there you have it. I mean, that's the info that I got. I showed you the swatches. I mean, some of the shades are very, very pretty. So I'm not saying that this is garbage. Why would you want it or anything like that? All I'm saying is you may not need it. You may not need it. And if you like it but don't want it for whatever reason, there are other options out there. So with that said, let's move on to the look and see what you think.
Right, I'm gonna interject here from time to time just to let you know what we got going on. This is the Too Faced Natural Matte Palette. I am going into that shade there, blending it in the crease line. As you can see, not a lot of details needed there. I am blending it to both sides because I'm using the same matte palette for both since I do not have the Jeffree Star palette. So we're just using the Dupe for the mattes right now. Blend, 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 blendy, blend, blendy, blend. I wonder if I needed to leave in all this blending. You guys get the idea. Blend, 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 blendy, blend, blendy, blend. Now I'm dipping into this shade here and just using it to kind of soften out and airbrush the transition. Although as it looks like on that side, I did a little too much. I don't know why. Why do we all have one side that's better than the other? All right, now we got the Tarte concealer that I like to use to cut my crease. Little brush there. I probably showed more than I needed to of the cutting of the crease because it is looking hella sloppy, but we are getting it done. Just kind of going back in there with that shade just to clean it up a little bit. All right, I am going in with the Jeffree Star Eiffel Tower. That is a satin shimmer, but it performs more like a matte, so we're putting it in the crease there. And now we're going in with the same matte Too Faced shade that we use, Risky Biz. And doing the same exact thing. And as you can see, they both perform very, very similar. Blending it out, blending it out. All right, we are looking at both the palettes here. We got the Jeffree Star palette and the Balm palette. Going in with the shade right here. Gonna be patting it on both sides with my fingers because I think these shimmer shades work a little better that way. Going in with this shade right here. Blending it out, blending it out, blending it out, blending it out. Moving on with the look here, we will next go dip our fingers into Frozen Fire, and same thing, we're gonna use our finger for both sides, just because I feel, with these types of formulas, I feel more comfortable using my finger. Frozen Fire is a really pretty shade. Now dipping our fingers into Urban Decay Element. Shades are so similar. Really the only difference is that the Urban Decay shade is more finely milled, so the glitter is a little more sparkly, I think. But the texture feels the same. The color is definitely the same. All right, finish that. Now we move on to cleaning up the brows because I have nary a hair on my head. Well, on my head, but not on my brows. Not a single hair on my brows. Now, Robert Welsh told me to just go for it, and yeah, I went for it. Yeah, I took it all the way to Egypt. Oops. This side's even worse. But we are working what we got, so it's a work in progress. I'll get better at it. Putting on the lashes.
All right, and this is the finished look. As you can see, I added a few more complexion products, cleaned up my foundation, all that kind of stuff, cleaned up the under eye, blah, 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 blah. But what do you think? My right eye, I used the Jeffree Star palette. My left eye, I use the Dupes. Pretty similar, right? I really honestly can't tell a difference. Let me take one more look to make sure. The shades, honestly, once they're on the eye, they look identical. This shimmer shade that I used from the Ogre palette, Eiffel Tower, as you can see, it performs just like a matte. You can't tell anything is shimmer about it. Even when you swatch it, it doesn't look shimmery. It looks matte. Well, barely. It looks more like a satin, I should say. Pretty good dupes, right? I mean, you do have to have two different palettes, but what's nice about this is palettes that a lot of people already have. So if you're not feeling like spending the $30 on this when you know you have these shades, or you prefer some of the shades that are in this palette, this is a really good palette, by the way. I really, really love this palette. So that is that. Just now you guys know you have options. You don't have to go out and buy this new palette. It's, in my opinion, it's just not worth it. It's a cash grab. Unless you really, really feel drawn to it, I wouldn't feel pressured to buy it. It's just, you already have the stuff, guys. You don't need it. You don't need it. All right, that is all from me. Thank you so much for watching my videos, guys. Thank you for being with me here from the beginning. I am so excited to be going on this journey for real now with you guys and feel like that we can go somewhere. All right, thank you very much, guys. Love you. See you next time. Let me know how you like this video, if you like the videos that I have been making or will be making, or the ones that I talked about making. Let me know. Give me your opinions. I want to hear the feedback. Leave comments in the comments below. Like, subscribe, do none of it. Just thanks for being here, guys, and I'll see you next time.